We'll come out to the garage. Big stretch. Good girl. Come on. Come on. As soon as you find out I'm going to the garage, you're going to run away, aren't you? Let's go in here. Yep, there she goes. Okay. Well, that was short-lived. Okay. I have no idea what I'm doing. That's actually more true than I was hoping it'd be. I put on more clothes too because it's cold. Okay, what we are doing today is gapping the rings for the Cutlass. That's kind of a part that I've been dreading because it's a little time consuming, and I don't know. It's one of those things that'll like feel like it's taking absolutely forever, because it is. But you know, it's not as satisfying as the rest of it, because you're not like bolting stuff together. You're not, you know, you're not actually like assembling. I mean, you are. I don't know. It's just, it's one of those things. But when you don't have the knowledge of a premier engine builder, you buy books. At least that's what I do. So I bought this book just to try and figure out, like, oh, hey, like, just make sure I'm not missing anything, if there are any cool tips and tricks or anything like that. And there are. But namely, it's so I can find certain things like the correct gap on piston rings, which is right here, ring and gap recommendations. So that's what we're doing. We're going to gap the piston rings, and I'm gonna bolt down my little Proform tool here that I'm weirdly stoked about. And ooh. But I haven't built a really nice counter for this yet, so literally I'm going to slam a drill bit through some of this crap. I'm disgusting. All this shit. This is what happens when you take apart multiple vehicles in the exact same spot. Just not a lot of good. It's just a freaking frackin' mess. Let's slam some holes in this bad boy and get to gapping. Gapping fools. So the more I think about this and like, I'm just gonna do it super mild, just kind of throw it together, the more I'm like, man, if this short block works well, I'm just gonna start spraying it. Or superchargers are pretty cheap for small blocks. You know, it's like, just that's part of my impatience. Is that I just, you know, need more. Where's my drill? Going to punch holes in stuff. Going to punch holes in stuff. That's a tight fit. That's awesome. So, right here, 4-inch bore street. This is just the example for the end gap. A 4-inch bore street engine, which would be your standard small block Chevy bore, with a cast piston to the top ring end gap factor is 0.004 inches. Thus, 4 inches times 0.004 equals 0.016 inch minimum end gap, which should be observed for every 0.001 inch increase in bore diameter. The ring end gap is increased by 0.003. So, since we're stock, super stock, as stock as it gets, not super stock, I shouldn't say that, that's a different thing. Since we're stock, our end gap, as shown here by that math, is 0.016, and as shown here, stock and street engines, 0.016 to 0.018, I'm going to shoot for 0.018, go a little bit on the bigger side just because, you know, I mean, if all goes well and this ends up being a pretty happy short block, nobody knows what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Nobody knows if this would get thrown into an old truck while I put a better nitrous motor in this. And I might supercharge it. Who knows? Nobody knows, man. Everything is just open for interpretation. And honestly, my brain is almost constantly in shambles thinking about new stupid things to do. So that's what I'm going to do. Really long-winded way to explain that I'm going to go with 0.018. Found my feeler gauges. They're a little rusty. They were in the step van. But rock and roll. Rock and roll. 0.018. 0.018. And now for the top ring. That gap seems pretty big. Huh. Yep, that gap is huge. So that's weird. Maybe I got too big of a piston ring set. Shit. Well, I'm going to do a little bit of research and see how bad I screwed myself. Because that's not... The gap in there is like 0.022 or 24. So that would be problematic unless I was already going to build this for nitrous. But I ain't. That wasn't the plan, man. That would be, yeah, supercharged or injected gas engines is where that gap is at. Cut. Cut. Hi, Lincoln. What's up, dude? What's going on? What's going on? Well, I don't know what the issue is. I set him an inch down the bore like a standard, you know, like that's the standard depth that you would usually run. So an inch down the bore. I squared him with the flat top piston, and the gaps are 0.024. And since I'm not running oval track, it appears I'm at an impasse. This is where stuff gets a little screwy. Where it's like, okay, those were the right rings. I checked the part number. They were the right rings. They were, you know, tight. They were the right rings. They were the right bore. Everything. The gaps are too big. I'm gonna check the second rings real quick. Even the second rings are .024. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but there's a hard stop. That's definitely a hard stop right there. Shit. That sucks. I don't understand that at all. So more disappointment for you guys and myself. That's the end of this video. Bye. All right, so I got to order new rings, I guess. I checked the bore. It's 4 inches, like almost exactly, with my cheap caliper. So I don't know. See you guys next time. After we get new rings, though, we're cruising. Son of a